Are you kidding me? That's what?
Yeah, every so often it happens that Ryan is right.
100% right. Not even a little bit right.
Tucker Pullman, 2 points last game.
No kidding. My man.
Hey, neither does me running shirtless, but that turned out very well. Welcome to the PP1 Podcast. I'm so excited to be back. So excited. First of all, screw you, Chris Phillips. We can drink. Don't be running your mouth on Twitter like you own the place. We'll get into that a little bit later. This, as the intro stated, is the PP1 Podcast. It's the only one of its kind. We're authentic. We're genuine. We talk Canucks. We talk other things. We're going to talk a lot of things today. We are presented by Crier Media, and I don't have enough information to give you about that yet, but it's a big deal. The network is changing, and this is one of the first live shows with Crier Media. Basically, it's going to pave our way to superstardom. And if you notice me driving around in like a Humvee or something, or like a
Volvo,
yeah, then it's because of this show.
like a 94 Subaru,
an Impala, possibly, maybe a Chrysler LeBaron with tinted windows and hydraulics.
Beautiful looking vet, like a Chevette.
Yeah, exactly. The hatchback, it's basically the same thing. We're all here together. I'm with my good friend Ted, and our good friend of the show. You may have seen him, well, on location, I suppose, but you've heard him for sure on Virgin Radio in Kelowna. Our good friend Mack. He's about as big of a Canucks fan as you'll get. If you're watching the live stream, you can see his background. Pretty much every jersey of significance. He's wearing Manny Malhotra.
I mean, who has a Malhotra?
One of
Not
you,
enough
one of
people.
You. He's got the Sedin's jersey, which I think is super clever with the 22-33 overlap.
Yeah.
I think we talked about that last time.
Did I have it last time? I wasn't sure. It's been a few years.
Yeah, I can't remember. You had the Rip or Tiger Williams or something like that. And the last time we had you on, you were also doing, because if anyone in Kelowna listening, you were doing like the Destroy Your Debt thing, and we were trying to figure out like how we can get in on that. So I have one question, Mac, before we get in here. Do you guys have like an actual vault where you're pulling out like stacks of cash like Breaking Bad and like here's a K, here's a K?
It's drums. It's like oil drums. Remember, it's not
pretty standard.
Right. Well, there was a time where it's just
it's buried in the desert in a Soyuz somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah, guys.
So how does that work exactly? Do you see the money in person?
Are you bringing this up because it's on right now and you're going
to listen to these?
I'm just trying to figure this out for myself. Yes.
I'm here trying to get away from work, and then this guy just wants to talk shop. He gets me.
Don't forget the $1,000 daily winner.
Yeah, I've yet to win in 3 years, so thanks a lot.
What do you mean? This guy wins all the time with
he's complaining. He's complaining about not winning shit, and all this guy does is win contests.
Did you?
I'm entitled to that.
Winnings, by the way. Did you ever? Did that come through?
I finally got it. Yeah.
Oh, you did. Okay.
literally that afternoon. I'm like, oh, that seems about right.
Ryan, season ticket holder for the Kelowna Rockets. How many times have you won on ice contests and in stand contests there?
In the stands, like once, to be perfectly honest. Actually, I told you the story about 2Ts. 2Ts walks by me and he like says no for me to enter the random in between whistles or whatever. I'm like, oh, he's like, who wants to win a gift card? I'm like, I do. He looks, he goes, no, and keeps walking. I've never had that. It was awesome. I don't know, on ice, like 20 times, maybe
20 times.
Did you ever do the puck in the tiny hole? In the goal from like either the blue line or the center line?
I mean, I shot it. I'd never made it.
My friend, I did. When I was hosting the game 5-6 years ago. Can't remember when it was exactly, but a friend of mine went up. There are 3 competitors. He gets it in. She gets it in.
I remember that.
That was insane.
I remember like, what do they do? What do they do? And it was probably for like what, like doggy daycare or something like that.
Yes, it was.
Like it's not even like a monetary thing. Like, I can't believe you did. Like, what do you like? A day for your dog at daycare. Oh wow, okay.
We had Mike Legg on. Do you remember? So Mike Legg was the guy who scored the original Michigan goal. You know, the one behind the net, the lacrosse style goal. in college. He was the very first guy to do it when he was playing for the University of Michigan Wolverines. And so they had like an alumni thing where they like had him and Marty Turco, and who was the other guy that came back? Who?
Morrison.
Oh, Brendan Morrison. They all went back to Michigan as like an alumni thing. And so they had them shoot the puck into the tiny hole from like center ice.
Yeah.
And he did like a Michigan version of it and sunk it. And then Morrison sunk it back to back. And then Turco shot from like the blue line on the opposite side with a goalie stick and sunk it. It was just crazy.
No way.
And the place went like ballistic. And we're like, how many times you tried? He's like, we got it. He goes, it made no sense how that all worked out. And they all got it. And I'm like, this has to be like doctored. Nope. He goes, I promise you, it's not. Yeah. Pretty crazy. So before we get into a few other things, I do want to mention we are on Facebook Live. We're on YouTube. You can comment along on those. You still can't comment on Twitter. They haven't figured that thing out yet. So if you want to join the conversation, come on by YouTube or Facebook. We're more than happy to have you. Let's get into a few things first. I would like to get something off my chest. You guys have probably been closely following my my Wendy's story. How my guy at Wendy's went over to Arby's, and that was a big deal. It's like going from Pepsi to Coke, right? So they're across the parking lot. So I go over to Arby's. This was like last year sometime, and go through, and he's like, "Hey, this is so and so." I'm like, "Whoa, that's the Wendy's guy. Why he switched sides? Like this guy's been there for years." And he goes over to Arby's, like mind blown, world's just going crazy, everything's blown up. Last week, I go back to Wendy's. I was back in my work mode again. So I drive through, pull up. He's like, "Welcome to Wendy's." This is so-and-so. I'm like, he's back.
Is this the guy that started with, "Really nice to meet you"?
That's the one.
Are you serious? I've talked about him on my show before multiple times. I love that guy.
He's worked the Rutland one too.
Oh my God.
For that guy, that's insane. That's my dude too.
So he came back. He came back to roost. And everything to me is whole again. Yeah, like this is
so
hard.
So he's at Wendy's in Rutland?
No. He has worked at the Wendy's in Rutland, like when he was originally with Wendy's, because he was like a lifer there.
Okay.
And then went over to Arby's for like a year and like whatever. So now I go over there, like I guess this was maybe Monday, this was even. And I go in there, he's rocking like the Puma zip up and everything, like DGAF. Like he's there, like, I know I belong here. Let's just get this over with. Like, so
anybody listening to this thinks like, oh, Kelowna must have like 200 people that live there.
200,000 actually. But it's a big deal. He's a local legend. Gets it right.
I can't believe you brought that up.
I know. We hit hard here.
So what's the deal? Is he just working at both spots then? Like, how does that happen?
No, I'm sure he's like for Wendy's maybe. Like they can cycle around, but like no, he crossed the line like they would in like Parliament. But
okay, but wait, just so I know, because I'm gonna go see him tomorrow. So he's back where now?
He's at Wendy's again.
At which one?
In the Cooper.
Oh, it is the Rutland one.
No.
Yeah, by the mall, right?
Cooper's by the mall, my friend.
But it's still in Rutland, though. He's still right.
Oh, okay.
He did work at the Rutland. Like they've moved him around for a little bit.
That's why you mean literally across.
Yeah. So anyway, crossed the line back to Wendy's. This is a big deal. Like when you get into a routine, folks, like we've all got them. Like your person at Starbucks, your person. So when you notice they go to the competitor, they go to Pepsi to Coke and then back to Pepsi. That's a big deal. They don't just let these things happen. So I'm sure there was like in some kind of trade embargo, and then he got to come back or something.
That's insane.
I know it made my freaking week. So
who starts the whole thing with, "Hey, it's a real pleasure to meet you. What can I get you tonight?" Or just let me, like, whatever it is. The first part he said, it's like no one says that.
Yeah, it would be like Vancouver reacquiring Jacob Markstrom.
Well, we don't want that.
Can they do that?
But I don't know. I gotta have him on my show. I've talked about him on the radio, but I gotta go and figure. I'm gonna introduce myself. I'll get his number.
Yeah.
Good God.
Couple of beers. Couple of big
Macs.
So that was like my big thing, and I do want to get in before we get into some of the really fun stuff. So our good friend Chris Phillips, friend of the show, part of That Helps No One Fantasy Cast, also on Crier Media. And Chris decided to run his mouth tonight for some reason. I don't even know where this was coming from.
As Chris does.
Oh, here we go. So Barstool has, you have 1 weekend and 3 friends to finish this throne of beer. So there's like there's like 20 flats of beer. That's a lot of beer. I mean, even in my good days. So he tags myself, he tags Steve and yourself. Ted.
Is that guy a lacrosse player?
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay.
So
yeah,
he's a pretty good one too. Yeah.
Yeah. Seems like
So Steve and him start throwing shade at us that we can't put him back. And he's saying that maybe we're a little less than. And I do want to remember, I do want to bring this up. Last time I checked, he's part of our intro because he was sleeping multiple times. And that is actually one of the highlights of this show every single week. So, yeah, I would say if we're going to talk about people that can actually handle their liquor,
maybe just put it up. Maybe just put it up.
But, well, I mean, I don't have the. Oh, I can find it. You keep talking. I'll find it.
Yeah, basically, so we're getting chirped pretty hard, but I remember him falling asleep on multiple occasions throughout the night, and Steve going to bed at like 10:30 because he was tired, while the rest of us continued to party on through the night for a 40th birthday party. So
get out of here.
I don't know. Yeah, it's not a sprint, fellas. There's it's not a sprint. This is a long distance race, and you just screwed that marathon.
Like absolute whoops. So yeah, next time you're gonna run your mouth, maybe have some statistics that back up your fight before you walk into the lion's den. And give me a break. Come on now. Let's be honest with ourselves. This that was a fight you didn't need to start, and because you're gonna lose it every day of the week. And then he'll probably bring up, oh well, I iced you guys and blah blah blah. Yeah, whatever.
So BMAC, I don't know if you saw we did like the little, it was like we had, Ryan and Chris did a foot race and raised some money for charity.
There's sleeping.
Napping. That's not even the pitcher, but he's still napping. And Ryan just destroyed him. So Chris, who is an actual athlete, so got beat badly in a 40.
That hurts me a little bit.
And a cone drill. Tarps off, gold chain, sweaty Harry Ryan playing the heel in the wrestling match. It was phenomenal. I can't wait to see round 2 if it ever exists.
I did play a heel pretty well. I'm not gonna lie.
Love it.
I did. Actually, I'll send you the link after, and you can decide. We had. I'm sure you're aware. Rob Fay. You know who that is, right?
I don't know.
Rob Fay in Vancouver there. So he narrated our little clip there. So
Ted
Rob got a lot more love than
You know that guy Rob in Vancouver?
Yeah, come on.
Oh yeah, Vancouver Rob.
I know him.
Vancouver Rob, Mike from Canada. Everybody knows, right? Right. So anyway, Chris, maybe just watch it next time.
Maybe we're just igniting for round 2.
Yeah. Do you guys want to get into some Canucks talk, or should we go into our radio names, Ted? Because
let's do that.
BMAC is your radio name.
Yeah, but it's not my real name.
It's not your real name. So it's and I wanted to ask, is it actually like Augustus? Is BMAC just like what you got to pick? Is it like?
So it all started when I lived in Toronto and I worked at the HMD Superstore on Yonge and Dundas. It's like this 4-story. There's elevators and escalators. Met Ron Jeremy there actually.
No kidding. And, nice guy
that's
here.
Another time. But it was this intercom thing. It was Brian, is because my real name is Brian McEwen. So it's like an Irish name.
Whoa. Does anyone else know this?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
It's cool. I gave up giving a shit.
All right. Fair enough.
But it was Brian McEwen, phone call, line 101, B McC 101. And then B McC became B Mack, and then McEwen, Mix, they're all Macs, Mackers. And that just became BMAC, and that all started in Toronto. And then it was like, shit, this is a good radio name. So I used it.
Like, screw it, I'm getting into radio. That was it. That was your.
Yeah, pretty much. But my boss at the time when I first got here, Boss Burley, he was like, nope, you're not BMAC. You're Brian Mack. And so for about 3 years, I had to call myself that. And then got the afternoon show, and then we kind of switched some things up. I'm like, everyone's calling me BMAC, even you. Like, why are we bothering you? Who is Brian Mack? So when anyone calls me Brian, it's like there's like a handful of people that do. And it's
like your mom.
My mom, my grandmothers used to call me that.
Yeah.
Like that's about it. Like my dad calls me BMAC. Like my stepmom, my brother, and that's fine. Like it's just normal to me at this point, right? But like it's weird when you like say you meet somebody that you don't know, they don't know who you are. They never heard your radio. They're from out of town or whatever it is. Trying to tell someone your name is BMac, like it's awkward because just sorry, what is it?
It's like your first email address when you're applying for a job.
Yeah. And then
you have dude 69
89 at hotmail.com. Like just I gotta get a better email.
I'm never
gonna get a job. Yeah. Like I'm never gonna get a job with this email address. So like my first was like Chandler Bing 31. I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna get employed if I keep this. So you know it's funny. Yeah. So
I'm still have a Hotmail account?
I still have 2.
Attaboy.
Ryan, I sent you my email that you send all the stuff to one of my DJ Hotmail account. And like let me tell you, it's not worth it. I'm literally gonna spend the next year transferring everything to like Outlook because I'm so outdated and shit goes to the junk files and like I'm getting so much shit. Like I can't keep track. And I got locked out of it
job
for like
promotions.
Tons of stuff. God! So I need to pick up the pace with the times here.
Yeah,
you got a pay raise in there you don't even know about.
What's that?
You get a pay raise in there you don't even know about, probably.
Yeah, like he just hasn't clicked signature on it. It's kind of weird. So I mean, obviously you're still keeping your MySpace going and your ICQ.
ICQ chat.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I'll send you the link.
Yeah, exactly. I'm frightened now.
That Hotmail account.
Yeah, we've got some.
He's up to 30,000 followers on Friendster.
Yeah. I don't even know what Friendster is. Maybe I'm just a loser or something. I've heard about it. That's about it. So you've got a radio name.
Yeah,
I mean, we've both got nicknames. So like first and foremost, let's go Ted. Like what would Ted's radio name be?
Oh, you guys don't have them yet?
No, I don't have. Weird. This is up to you.
I don't know. I like this BMac thing. Like I feel like I need something like that.
No, you can't be Matt. You can't.
It's gotta be like it's gotta be like
a T Wong.
Teddy Wong. So be like T Dub or something like that.
Ooh.
T-Dub. Yeah. I'll go
actually,
with T-Dub. Yeah.
That's good.
Like V Dub, but T Dub.
And then something to do. You got to use Hank for yours, Ryan, because that's.
So I mean, I've got like so many, but I don't want to call myself. I don't because
you want
like Hank the Tank would be like Hank the Tank, but that's a tough one to do for radio. That's too much, right? Or like Hank, I've done, but like that's too easy. That almost sounds like I work at like Alabama or something like that. This is Hank on the afternoon show.
Big ol' Hank.
Yeah, I'm probably not going to be getting a normal radio job for that, but
Hank the Hunk.
Hank's Heroes.
There's lots of stuff that rhymes with Hank, but it's like dank and spank and stuff like that. So I don't
know
if that's
Spank for the longest time. Like I got a hat that says that on there, not this one, but
it's not going to work though.
Like you are like the authority figure on this one, so I'm hoping.
Okay.
Like if this all fails,
literally MC Hank.
MC Hank.
You don't like that?
You could be MC Hanker.
I could do. I mean, if I'm rocking this, maybe I could be MC Hank or like. I feel. Oh, now I'm stuck. Now it's here. I'm sorry. It doesn't even. I'm gonna have to derobe everything I'm wearing just to get this stupid thing off. Now I made a mistake.
Not another derobing.
Yeah. Well, you heard in the intro, like I do like to take my shirt off occasionally. So, we'll come back to that. If you got a good one, by all means, interrupt. So let's actually talk Canucks hockey because this is a Canucks show. Last time I checked, we have the colors of the Canucks. You're wearing a Canucks jersey. I have a Canucks shirt on. Ted, a hat. So we've hit all of the criteria. The Canucks are having themselves a road trip. They almost made it happen tonight, late in the game against Tampa, literally down to the last play of the game. Absolute robbery by Vasilevsky. So Vancouver lost 5-4. Great actual finish to the game. But typical Canucks, they are finding a lot of different ways to lose, despite how many goals they score. They have, I believe, the most blown leads in the NHL this year with 8. That's a statistic that we'd like to be at.
And 10 of them of multiple goal leads too.
Exactly. So,
and I think the NHL record is like 14, so they're well on their way.
Oh, we'll get that by March for sure.
I literally say to myself, it's impressive how they can lose like this. And I keep telling people, and I'm like, I'm not joking. I'm like, as soon as they go up 1 or 2, I'm like, this is not good.
Yeah, like
And
I think it's multi-goal blown leads is 8. So
okay, I thought I saw 10. Whatever it is, it's not acceptable.
Maybe
Maybe
10
10.
blown leads, but multi ones are 8. That's probably what it is.
Yeah, whatever it was, I think it'd be more
Either
than
way.
10 of just like, even if it's a goal, but whatever it is, it's like it's literally impressive. It's almost like, I don't know. I mean, I've been around a while. My whole life, I've been watching them do this, and it's so sad when you have the team you have on paper, one of the greatest, like, six guys to go, and one of the best power plays when they're all firing off. But like it's like it's in a sick way impressive how they can lose it so consistently, and every time they go up in a game, I'm like, shit, we're gonna lose this game, and
then they do.
Yeah, I feel you, man. Like, hey, Brian, like 3-goal lead. Where's the
who the fuck is Brian?
Yeah. You gotta go back to radio names again. It's B-Mack. You're not.
That was me trying to keep it professional. Yeah.
What about Shank for you?
Three-goal lead, worst lead in hockey.
I could do Shank.
T-Dab and Shanks.
It felt weird coming out of my mouth as Brian. Brian, you know what I mean?
It works. Did
It's
you
like,
guys see my
when my mom calls me Ted, like I'm in trouble? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you prefer Teddy.
I'm good for either, as long as my mom doesn't call me
He's
Teddy.
a fuzzy dude. He's a fuzzy dude. So check this out.
Like, is my mom here?
So Tuesday, because we're on Thursday today. So check this out. Here is my tweet. I was watching the game at work because I think they've all been starting early, right? And so this is like 4:30. The game started 4. I said, it's going to be 3-3 before you all go home from work. Literally like 10 minutes before 5 o'clock. Period's just about to end. Canucks are up 3-0. Back to 3-3.
Yeah.
When you start getting to the point where you see a 3-goal lead for the Canucks, you think, I'm going to time it and see how long it takes to get back to normal. That's a problem.
It's so fucking predictable too. Like it's like it is 9 out of 10 times it's going to happen. They'll blow it. It's impressive. I hate to use the word, but it's impressive how they can do it.
It's
really
frustrating.
is.
You know what I mean? Like
it's fucking something. I'll tell you that for free.
It's unreal. And it's every year in my life, but this year just seems to hurt so much because of the talent.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's the frustrating part is you look at the pieces that are there. You've got an Elias Pettersson, you've got a Quinn Hughes. I mean, Demko's hurt right now. You've got a Kuzmenko. Bo Horvat's playing out of his mind right now. No. Say what we want about JT Miller. JT Miller's not doing too shabby. Like they've got some impressive talent, and yet you watch this team, you're thinking like, I don't know how they keep doing it. It just doesn't seem fathomable. And then they do it again. At least, I guess the taking solace in all this is we want them to tank. I think they're just accidentally doing it. Like, I think they're not trying to, and they're still doing it. So maybe we will get a guy like Connor Bedard, despite their best/worst efforts. Like maybe they'll tank without doing anything. Mm-hmm. Which is
they're closer. They're closer to the bottom 5 of the league than they are to a wild card spot for a playoff. So I think if everything just stays the same, if they don't fire the coach, if they leave the players intact, and Bo's on his way out at some point down the road, which is an ouchie,
a weird thing.
I can't see anything amazing coming back that's going to like save this franchise for the foreseeable future in this season. So I mean, I think a bad finish is in the cards, boys.
I'm actually excited. And you know what? If we don't get Connor Bedard, which it's possible because Canucks, there is a guy, and I brought this up at the beginning of the year, and he's been having a wicked season. He has now gone from a B prospect to a high A prospect. He will be in the top prospects game in a week and a half from now. I think it's in Vancouver. His name is Andrew Crystal. He plays for your Kelowna Rockets. And this guy has pulled off the Michigan. He's scored twice. He's attempted, I think, like 5 times in the last 2 seasons. And all he's done is get better. He's gone from more of his own kind of stylistic guy where he's been able to make things happen on his own. He's now creating a team game for himself where he's basically doing what we wanted Ryan Kessler to do as a center, but he's doing it as a winger. He's distributing the puck a lot better, and he's still finding ways to score absolutely insane goals. and he's going to be on the line with Connor Bedard come the top prospects game. So if you haven't heard of the second leading scorer in the WHL, Andrew Crystal, you're going to hear about him and you're going to know his name by the end of the month. And actually, we're working on having him on the show, or at least a little clip. So that is hopefully going to happen in the next couple weeks as well. So get on board with, I mean, at the very least, we're going to have a wicked winger to throw a dart at for prospects. So, I mean, it could be worse. They could tank again next year and not have anybody, or tank last year and not get anybody. So be happy it's this year.
There you go.
That's all I've got to say about that. So that's maybe we shouldn't be happy, but at the same time, whatever. So yeah, this road trip is kind of getting a little bit iffy. Pittsburgh wasn't a lot of fun, but there is one guy, and we're going to talk about him because he's going to get paid, whether it's by the Canucks or not. Mr. Andrei Kuzmenko from Russia with love. And oh my goodness, do we love this guy still. Having a phenomenal season, but they're going to have to pay him if he stays. Rumor is five multi-year, like a bridge deal, or it sounds like, according to Dollywall, like 6 for 1. So do the Canucks actually go and lock him in if it's a 5 or a 6, or are they, in your guys' opinion, should they be trading him? Or is this a guy, like, even if you're paying him that, you kind of still have to lock him in anyway, because we need a few players that are going to have to make a little bit of money like that?
I don't know. We're in a weird spot, right? I think it'd be really nice to have a goal scoring winger that you're paying like $5.5-6 million to for 3 to 4 years, who's in the prime of his career, except we already have that guy signed, and his name is Brock Besser, and he's just not doing the things that we need him to do. And I think if they could go back and do this again, I think they'd have a way to not have Besser sit in that contract for him. But unfortunately, he occupies, whether he's the right guy or not, he occupies the same spot that Kuzmenko does. Kuzmenko has even taken his spot on the top line. So I don't know. I think you have to find a way to alleviate that contract pressure from a guy like that, because you can't have two wingers who are the same age, who play a similar position and a similar role on the team, occupying the same salary. And it's just not efficient. That's like $12 million for one guy that does his job and one guy that doesn't. So, I mean, I like the idea of Kuzmenko. I don't know how much we're going to pay a guy like that, but I think that this team needs to be, unlike other years, like we'll use the JT Miller thing as an example, when we all thought he was on his way out, and they just re-upped him out of nowhere. Like, I don't think anybody saw that coming, unless Mack did. I don't know. No. But that's the thing. I think when you run into a situation where maybe you see that you have to make a trade, or you feel like you have to re-up somebody, or you're going to lose the asset, I don't want them to just re-up it because they feel like they've been forced into it. I want them to re-up him for the right reasons. If they're going to re-up him, I would prefer that money be moved off the books. That would be like my opinion on it.
I think then they do move off of Besser. Like, I know the rumors are not rumors or burling, but I think that is the card that probably is going to get played first. I think he's kind of coasted into kind of that comfortable spot where everyone's talking about Miller, everybody's talking about Bo, everyone's talking about Kuzmenko, and the Brock Besser hype train, as far as, are we going to trade him, are they going to keep him, whatever, that's kind of sat. So I think if they move him, it's almost the least shocking thing of all those, and it kind of starts the process. Right now, all of a sudden, if you do want to sign Kuzmenko for that 5 or 6, okay, well, we're kind of even Steven as far as salary goes, but we're getting the guy that we've been trying to have for the last 4 or 5 seasons. So I guess the value is being fulfilled through Kuzmenko, and likely they trade Besser, and I would assume there's value there. And on the other side, and maybe they do pull back some sort of, whether it's a prospect or if it's a hockey trade, like a player for a player, and Brock gets a new head start. Everybody talks about Minnesota. I think that's entirely possible, but maybe the price is too high. I don't know. What do you think, Ted? You're on mute. Sorry.
I just don't know. I don't know how you trade him. I don't know.
I don't. How do you not trade him though?
I mean, I agree. Somebody would pick him up, but I think
if you're gonna go Kuzmenko, it's one or the other. Like, it's like you said, it's equal towards salary and what they do. But like you said, Brock isn't producing like we expected him to. Kuzmenko, like, it's going to be a gamble. Like Brock could also turn it on, right? Like he could finally fulfill what he was brought here to do and what we thought he was going to do. He's not really doing it, and I don't know, maybe Boudreau's kind of his whole tough love and taking people out, like not dressing guys here and there for when they're healthy. Maybe that's not working. I mean, I don't think it did. It didn't seem to be a positive thing, or the team jumped back at any point, and he's done it a bunch with a few players.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I just think that, and I hate it because I liked Brock Besser a lot. I love what he stood for. I love that he was going to, proms for people, like he was
human being for sure.
He's a great community guy. He's a leader. But like, how many more of these soft-spoken guys do we need? Because, like, as I love Bo Horvat, and I'm hoping there's still a way that there's something they can do to figure it out. Like, we'll get into more of that later. But, like, everybody's quiet as fuck. The only one who's actually loud is Miller, and he's a liability. So, like, he needs some more excitement. You know what I mean? Like, Quinn Hughes is tired as fuck. You've got Lucas, the old, like the
grizzled vet
one. Who is there riling everyone up other than JT Miller, who's not really riling people up in the
Tyler
right
Myers,
way?
But he's not really riling the team up. He's riling the fans up.
And that's a guy that, okay, and like, I know I don't want to jump ahead too far, but maybe with his salary, which is inflated, maybe there's still a chance that Bo stays, right? But the Miller thing, I think, is what really screwed the team. And
it was the one domino that fell, and it kind of collapsed everything else.
It's unreal. And then it's like, okay, do we need new owners then for making decisions like that? You know what I mean? Yeah, yes, we do.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
That's a bit of a tougher one, though.
I'm looking at like Brock's salary right now, and it's really weird to think. So Brock currently makes $1.1 million more than Bo Horvat. And he makes $1.4 million less than JT Miller next year when his contract goes up to $8 million. So he's sitting in such a good spot salary wise that like he's clearly not producing to the level that you need him to. I think moving him would be difficult. We were already talking about him getting benched last game. He made that great defensive play, which was super rad. Yeah. But like, I mean, the only reason he got into the lineup was because like Dakota Joshua hurt himself.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we're benching a $6.65 million winger right now. Like we're talking about.
We all got benched tonight, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. Like there's another huge chunk of change in addition to the Tyler Myers money, which is $6 million comes off the next. It's not even death by 1,000 cuts. It's like death by 1,000 stab wounds. Like these are fatal wounds.
And there you've got a ton of money. Put the rest of it, sprinkle it to Bo, and then get like someone on D. That's going to.
I mean, that all sounds nice and peachy, but it's still like someone has to go and take those. It's not. We can't just move them out. But
I don't know, man.
I think that's the problem.
If this was NHL, like Chell, I could video game. I could make that trade pretty easily. I feel like.
Yeah, but they keep saying like, oh, it's tougher to trade guys than you think. Like your job, getting paid multi-million dollars, is to make those moves. Like it's not just something that happens. They are in a position as an NHL coach. You're in a position to make sure that you can ice the best possible lineup, best lines, combinations, deep pairs, so on and so forth. Goaltending. As a general manager and president, both of those guys, their jobs are to make those hard decisions. Their job is to run the business. There's a team, underneath that, but you have to find that best configuration. And if you start seeing like, hey, I'm getting nothing out of this guy. I'm getting nothing out of this guy. I'm getting the exact same contributions as this guy. And this guy is about to get paid, who basically does this guy's job. We accidentally gave this guy a contract when we should have given it to this. Like, there's all these gymnastics that they're having to do when a lot of these decisions, some of them were somewhat simple. And despite the new regime, they've made it look so difficult yet again. And now, they're going on, I mean, it's great they're going on 650 and on some of these shows and actually, coming out and saying stuff, but we joke about it, but sometimes it's almost like, well, I mean, you guys are kind of shooting yourselves in the foot still, and you're in a problem situation where you still haven't been able to figure it out, despite saying that you're going to get it figured out. And there's been nothing to show us otherwise that that we're going over this little, this little hill here. It's still a massive mountain. They thought they probably had a molehill, and it's this massive mountain they can't seem to climb. And they're just continuing to like, well, it's not that big of a mountain. And they're like, but what if we put something on top of the mountain and then we'd have to climb even higher? Like it's counterproductive. So I think when it comes to Kuzmenko, my 2 cents is I do think they sign him, and obviously if there's a move then that has to happen with that. JT Miller and Bo Horvat is a whole other thing. So I don't know.
Team needs talent.
Pardon me?
The team needs talent.
Well, and he's talented. So, I mean, it shouldn't be that hard. It shouldn't be that hard to lock up a guy that first and foremost, they win in the sweepstakes. Like, you let him go one and done because he outperforms what you were hoping he would do. Like, oh, yeah, it's really too bad that we put ourselves in this situation because, man, it would have been awesome to have him. Newsflash, he's still here. You can make something happen. He seems to like it. He's probably one of the most likable guys on the team. Every time you look on Instagram or Twitter, oh, there's Kuzmenko smiling and high-fiving everybody. And
he's probably your fuck yeah guy, B-Mac.
He is.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if he's quite there yet, but like I do love seeing him, and I love seeing him in the top 6. And
it makes too much sense.
Like, is Mikheyev and Pettersson with him? Like, is that not something that we should be experimenting more with?
It's pretty fun,
right? Like,
yeah,
I think
fun to watch.
And is Miller bitching about who he's getting played with because it was the latest rumor, and then all of a sudden he's playing with Pettersson? And is it that he doesn't want to play with Garland? Like, is that what it is?
I don't know.
I just think, like, there's your cancer in the dressing room.
I think all body language stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like I think you see it. You know it is human.
At the end of every shift, brutal. Like, but he does it every single shift. It's so predictable. You're just waiting to hear it every time.
Yeah. It's
and you know it's coming.
Stuff. Yeah,
you know it's coming. Yeah,
and it's not that. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, Bo Horvat, I love him to death, but he's not excitable. Like, he's not. I don't know what he's doing in the dressing room, but like, you look at him, and when he does his polished interviews, he's still like, you look at a guy like Drew McGinley and you see the gleam in his eye, and you know that guy's got the spark. And like, I love Bo, and he might have it on the ice, but like, is he igniting the team like he should be? JT Miller isn't the guy to do it because he's like a cancer, as what I just feel like it's so true. You hear the rumors and you look at it and you think that guy's not doing anything good for this team. So like, where is the igniter? Like, who is it? Like, you're saying Tyler Myers, but like, everybody hates him.
That was a joke.
You know? Who's the thermostat for sure? I think my biggest problem with this team over the last, like, I don't think it's changed in like 8, 9, 10 years, man. Like, I don't know what this team's identity is. Like, I have no clue. Year to year, I think we get all the words about where this team is going and what the idea is when we're building this roster, and we got to get younger and we got to get faster, and we're looking for players in their mid-20s and blah blah blah. And then we do things like bring in an Oliver Ekman-Larsson on a crazy trade for a Louis Eriksson deal when he was going to be off the books in like 2 years, and we're sort of signing older guys to bigger contracts, and then we're talking about re-upping 28-year-olds to 7-year deals and stuff. Like, that's just crazy talk, because like, these are bad contracts, not right this moment, but they're going to be bad contracts. And I think I still struggle with what is this team's identity? I think to the rest of the league, it's like a bunch of guys who are overpaid and underperforming, and we can just go in there and beat them up and count it as a W. Maybe it's a team that can scare us a little bit, but even go back to this Rutherford quote a little while ago. We'll never get as good as we want to be as soon as everybody wants. But I think the opportunity is going to be there at some time that we can put a pretty good team together here. Like, what the fuck does that mean? When are you going to do this? Like, it just means you don't know. I just don't know. Like, I don't know, man. I just don't know what this team is like still after all these years. And it's just craziness.
So like, were you guys pumped last year when Boudreau seemed to ignite, right? And it just seemed to be like, okay, like we just missed it, but we always seem to just miss it, right? To get in.
But at least like when he came in, because it was just before Christmas, it was the 12th, I think, right? And yeah, I think everyone got excited because they looked, okay, well, he's ignited something. It's okay that we missed the playoffs. It's okay that we missed the playoffs this year. It looks like there's some traction going, and that's why they go and sign JT Miller, thinking, oh, well, he's going to get the same thing out of him, and then we're going to get a full training camp, or we're going to get a full preseason with our this new group, and obviously Kuzmenko comes as well. Things are going to work out, and then everything just kind of goes like, you guys still put way too much weight on last season, and you didn't realize you still had these problems that you.
But did they think that though, Ryan? They didn't even want to sign Boudreau to a new deal. Like, it took forever for him to even get the deal. They were talking about him not knowing if he was going to be the guy. Like,
but I think they still bought in anyway.
Do you know what I mean? Like, the guy's a winning coach, and I love him. He even looks like my dad. You know, like I feel like he's almost along the Pat Quinn same lines of that, you know, historic type coach. But like, I feel like he's, I don't know. I want to put my faith in him, but you see this whole season, you know, we're halfway through and it's gone to shit. Like, it's never really done what I had hoped it would do. And so, like, is he too old now? Do you know what I mean?
It's not even about being old, though. They still, even though, like, Ted, you're right, they still bought into what they said they weren't buying into. And it goes with Miller and it goes with Boudreau, if you think about it, because they had this failure of a season last year. I mean, they just miss out. I mean, it was a pretty exciting little run to end, obviously. But they go and they make their first mistake and they go with JT. Then they say they're not going to re-up Boudreau, but they're going to let him play it out, and it's not a big deal. And yet you see all these things happen, like, okay, well, maybe we're forgetting. And this isn't a Boudreau thing, and I'm not trying to harp on him, but it is part of that same problem that they just failed to identify that, hey, maybe it was okay. And, you know, this is what Jim Benning and Weisbrod did. They're just they're just singing a different tune, but it's still, I mean, they're the same words of the song. It sounded better in my head, but that's going to be okay. We talk about sparks, though. You guys are bringing up, like, the spark player, right? Like, who's going to be the spark guy in the Canucks? And yet you don't really hear about it. You don't see the guy that's yelling and screaming. Well, a guy like Connor McDavid, who looks soulless basically in every single interview, like, he looks like there is like a vacant shell inside of him. And they brought up about his socks or whatever. I mean, we look at Pettersson, we look at Hughes. Those guys aren't exactly exciting personalities. Exactly. They're not yelling and screaming, but they're getting it down on the score sheet. Connor McDavid, not a very exciting dude, as we've seen in basically every interview. Like, he
also
looks
a very average hockey player.
That's my point, though, is you get into a guy like McDavid, and he's absolutely shredding the NHL every which way possible. Absolutely undressed Zegras the other day, and yet you interview him, and it's, I mean, I'm more excited to, like, you know, feed my cats. Like,
McDavid's a one of a kind, like, he's not, nobody comes around like that. So it's not like a Connor McDavid. There isn't a Connor McDavid other than him. You know what I mean? Like,
but it's still excitable. Like, you're going based on your best players, is what I'm saying. Like, you're following your best player's lead, is what I'm trying to get at.
For sure. But that's, and so with the Canucks, like, who is it? It's the only loud one's Miller.
I think, like, me personally, I think I'm excited for that possible change that's coming. Like, I'm ready if Bo has to go. Like, I don't want to see him go, but I'm ready if Bo has to go.
I'm not.
And if you know, if the Miller thing, if that happens, that he leaves at some point, like, what I'm trying to say is I'm ready for the Quinn.
What are you trying to say, Ted?
I'm ready for the Quinn Hugheses and the Elias Petterssons of the world to take hold of this leadership group. And we don't really know what kind of leaders they are. And you know, Pettersson is a stoic guy, and Hughes is that player, like a Niedermeyer almost, that will step onto the ice, and players, he instantly demands respect from the other team and the players on the roster. And I think Pettersson does it the same way, with a little bit of attitude, which I kind of like, honestly. And I don't think these guys have really been exposed to the leadership portion of this team yet. They're carrying this team. They're the best players unequivocally.
Yeah.
And maybe it is time for them to take over. And I think that's the only reason, BMAC, why I'm okay with seeing a Bo go like that, you know, Bo on the go.
I'm trying to find the picture. I made one.
Just so, because I think, like, maybe we see another layer to a Hughes and a Pettersson's game.
Yeah, maybe
take this thing over, because we don't know who that is on this roster right now, and it's not what it is right now. So what's that doing for us?
So
you know,
who do you guys think is taking the C? Like, because it's Miller, Pettersson, or what, Hughes? Like,
I think it's got to be.
It would be Petey.
I think it's got to be Petey.
Because I think in the last year he's proven, because with playing on the penalty kill and showing more defensiveness and just he's improved so much, and he's become bigger and tougher, and like I feel like at the beginning of the season, I'm like, I don't know if something happened to Bo, I don't know if Petey's rep for it. I think now he is. So I think he's the number one lead. If this would be it'd be a sad day for me. I don't know which jersey I'd retire because I got 3 Horvats.
Oh wow!
I know. Another reason why I don't want him to leave, but that's another thing. I don't know. I think it's Petey's the guy if Bo actually leaves, but maybe
I
it's
agree.
Else, right? Like maybe they bring in someone. Maybe it's
like you're right. Maybe it's an interim 1 year a vet thing, right? And then they come back and announce the team leader fully, almost like what they did with Bo after Hank left, right?
Yeah, exactly. But we'll see. I mean, but maybe it's someone from outside of the organization. Who knows? We'll see. But I just feel they need that spark.
Like I know, like it probably won't happen, obviously. But say if everything happened and shit hit the fan, and somehow, Luke Schenn wasn't traded because we feel like he's going at some point because he has value. He's a cheap contract. He's an aging vet on
like a Brad Richardson type thing.
If somehow he stuck around through all of this mess and everybody left, I think that I would. There you go. I can't believe you put that together. I could fully see a Schenn taking over for the remainder of the year as team captain before you move into the next year. And
I like that, and I thought of that too. And I thought, when they keep putting him with Quinn, and then now he's down and back and forth. He is the lead. Like he's the silent leader. He's like the tall, quiet giant of that team, and he's the one who's going to protect you over everyone. Like in Luke we trust.
He's big brother.
He is, and I would love that to see a big C on his chest because I think he's earned it. He deserves it. I don't think we'll see it though.
I agree. I think they'll move him for something. I think they'll get some value out of his contract, and that's great that he keeps signing 1 year deals and coming back, and then we move him, we get an asset for him, so on and so forth. But yeah, that type of guy. It's more not that it specifically needs to be Luke Schenn, but you're right, BMAC. It's that type of guy that needs to take over in the interim while they sort the rest of it out in the following year.
And he's got the history. He's got the accolades, and he seems to love Vancouver.
Yeah, and it's funny. The one guy we don't often talk about is another former captain on this squad, and that's probably OEL, right? I think he probably garners respect from the rest of the league and stuff. So maybe it's a guy like that, because I think moving that contract is like next to impossible.
If it happens,
what's he making?
7.5.
Whoa, you're kidding.
Yeah, he's making.
It's a big one. He's making like Quinn Hughes money.
Oh, I didn't know that.
For a while, so
I couldn't put my trust in that. Like, again, like he's okay, but he's not a Quinn Hughes, and he's not a $7 million D man.
So 7.26 BMAC. But it's okay. It'll be off the books in 26-27.
Oh, well, because like
you'll be 50.
He should be playing better, but it's like the same thing with almost everyone on the team, other than like Bo.
Yeah. We kind of brought this up, I think, on our last show, Ted. Like Bo's having a phenomenal year, and he'll get paid based on that because that's how this sport works.
Yeah.
Bo Horvat is, and I'm not saying a complete outlier year, but he is outperforming a lot of what he's done. Like he's had a nice steady progression, but this is going to be like that. Now, bad example, but I mean, when Ryan Kessler put up 40, Ryan Kessler isn't a 40 goal scorer. Bo Horvat isn't a 40 goal scorer. He might have his Jonathan Chichu year, and he absolutely just shreds it and puts up 35, which is entirely possible, if not 40. But he's not going to be putting that up every year, and we'd be fools to say that he would. And that's not a slouch to Bo. That's just not the type of player he is. That's not what his talents dictate that is the type of player. He's a absolutely well-rounded guy, but he's not a superstar goal scorer. He's having a great season, and it's showing that. But they're going to pay him based on that, which is going to be wrong for whichever team takes him. He's worth market value in the ballpark, but you can't pay him as if he's going to be your number one goal scorer because they've already messed that one up with JT Miller. The guy that should have had that money was a guy like Elias Pettersson, where he's going to be your leading goal scorer. He's going to be one of those top 10 guys in the league, but they've messed that up already once.
And then they only signed him to a 4-year deal.
Exactly. I was going to say they messed it up twice because they bridged him. So it's it's kind of ridiculous. What
Hey,
I'd
Mac.
like to, yeah. Sorry.
My question to you would be, I know you want Bo to stay, and that would be like a dagger for you, right? Watching him go. You love the guy, great player. He's been a phenomenal Canuck for a bunch of years now, right? I mean, that was the piece in the Corey Schneider trade. None of us wanted to see Corey Schneider go either. Yeah. What number is it that you're not okay with Bo staying for like a 7 or 8 year deal? What's the number? What's too much before you can't be like?
I don't know. I think somebody's going to give him 8. I think he's definitely worth 7. I think that the fact that he is our captain and he's our leader, and the fact that he's showing that you might be right about he's having his record-breaking year, but I think he's definitely a 30 plus goal scorer. He might not be a 40, but I think he's a 30. And when he's with the right team and the right atmosphere, I think that he's going to pull it off every season. Granted, yeah, he's getting a little older, but I don't know. It's just.
But do you pay $8 or $9 million for?
It's tough.
Yeah.
I think that like he's worth more than Miller, and that's where they're fucked, is because like you can't pay Miller more than the captain.
But they've already done it. That's the problem.
You're
right.
So, like,
they've already done it.
So they have to get to 8.
He's going to stand up and he's going to start like old man at the clouds.
It's disgusting that they're paying Miller so much, and I know I can't change it. There's nothing I can do to fix it, but that's why he's going to go.
We're going back.
But it really chaps my ass. I'll tell you that.
It's
you want to know what grinds my gears, America? You.
Can I have a bathroom break? I gotta pee so bad.
You can go.
We'll
carry the show. Have at her. We got lots to talk about. Go for it. Go make a pee-pee.
Go for it.
Okay, make it run. Come back and we'll.
It's on brand.
Don't worry, we got you. You're all good. So Ted, I was going to bring up. We can maybe talk about it next week. It was a crazy WHL trade deadline. Pretty much every possible pick in the next 6 years got dealt for any contender. I don't want to go too much into that. But
can you list all of the picks that were traded in the trade?
Okay, so it wasn't for Connor Bedard, which makes absolutely no sense. How do you make arguably the biggest blockbuster deal in the history of the sport in the WHL, and you don't even get Connor Bedard? So Owen Zellweger and Hofer, is it Hofer? I can't remember. That was the big trade, and they were both going to Cam. And in exchange, Everett got 4 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, a third, a fourth, a fifth, and a sixth. And that is spread out over the next, what year are we? 2023. So that was spread up till 2026. I'm just trying to pull up the tweet again here. Vancouver also did some damage. Seattle went and made a big move. I'm just trying to pull it up. I apologize. But they went out. So you see everything that was going to be going the other way to Everett. And you're thinking, like, how does Connor Bedard not go for a king's ransom like that? We've seen some pretty big trades in the WHL. We've seen Kelowna go and get Morrissey and Draisaitl. Those were a little bit easier to stomach because there wasn't a whole lot going on there in the trade. But you see that many draft picks. Now, set this up as well. Like, it is the WHL. You've pretty much decided that you're going to be kind of staggered for the next few years as far as your progression of your junior team. And that's selling the farm for, Memorial Cup. And I get that it's a big deal, but I mean, you still got to get, Kamloops is hosting, so I shouldn't be too harsh. And then I look at the Thunderbirds. So they went and got Dylan Gunther after after the juniors and the rights to Jordan Ramsey and an 8th round pick in this year's draft. So Edmonton gets the rights to Koji Simpson or Gibson. They get next year's what does it say? Fourth round pick. They get a 2026 conditional first. This year's conditional second. 2025 conditional 4th, 2026 conditional 4th, 2026 conditional 5th, and 2024 conditional 6th. Those were 2 of the bigger trades that were out there. So it's like these guys are trying to make the craziest moves. And I mean, Seattle's going to be an absolute force come the playoffs. I think it is going to be Seattle that comes out of the WHL. Obviously, Kamloops is hosting, so they get to be in there anyway. Those two teams are going to run the table when it comes. Actually, that's not true because the OHL was making some trades as well. I believe. Who did I see move? What's his pickle? Shane Wright, I think. He went back to junior. He got traded to I can't remember, but he got traded to was it the London Knights or something? So like everyone's going for broke this year. Like it's the Mem Cup happens again next year. I don't know why everybody decides that this is the one everybody wants to throw their hat in for.
Yeah, I mean, there's some other things at play here with like the Bedard thing. He's 17 and he's got a no trade clause. There's some difficulty in trying to navigate to try to acquire a player like that. And if you were talking about, I mean, the Gunther trade was great. Zellweger trade would also be great for any team that's acquiring guys like that. And if you're paying that King's ransom that you talk about for a Gunther or a Zellweger, like imagine what you would have to give up to get a Connor Bedard.
I think that was a trade that would have made that happen. I think that's the ridiculous thing.
I don't know if it would have. If you have to pay that for Gunther, then why would you like? Okay, I no
for Zellweger, not Gunther.
Think Connor McDavid, right? I mean, like, okay, like if I had to give all these things up, I think I'm going to get Connor McDavid for all of these picks, these 3 first-round draft picks in the 4 seconds and the 2/3 or whatever. And you think you can get McDavid for that, and you can't. So you're going to settle for a second-tier player who's very good, but definitely isn't in McDavid standards. And that's the thing, right? I mean, it sounds good on paper that you feel like you're going to give it, but like that, I mean, maybe that team just doesn't want to walk away from Bedard. I mean, that's kind of just how it goes. So you don't automatically just be like, I can't get Bedard, so I'm just going to give the same pick for Gunther. Like that's not how it worked, right?
The
like
problem is that's what happened. That's what I'm getting at. Like that's insane.
I don't know. I don't know if I believe that, right? I think there's other things at play. I think the no trade thing was probably a factor. I think that probably pushed up the price, knowing that you're going to pay that for Bedard. You can't have him. This is the next best player. You probably have to pay for it. But it probably meant that there was more that had to be put on the table to get a Bedard.
Yeah, I wonder if there was an actual final offer that would have had to happen. Regina wanted him to be drafted, by whatever team they wanted from Regina Pats, Connor Bedard. They wanted the prestige on there. I mean,
70 points in 29 games, craziness.
Like, he's bonkers, and he was off for a month, and Andrew Crystal just finally caught up, and he's still 8 points back. So, like, that's insane. But what I don't get is, like, we're all in the Kelowna market. We know very well how Kelowna's done at the draft for players getting picked. It's a neat feather in the hat, but I mean, that isn't the be all end all. Like, people aren't going to be flocking to Regina to play because Connor Bedard played there. Because first of all, you're not going to get to play with them. You're going to be there with the memory of Connor Bedard.
I don't know, man. You take summer vacations in Prince George for some reason.
Have you seen the views there? They got a lake, okay? That's a fair point.
Yeah, I left Kelowna to go to Prince George because they had a lake for the summer.
Yeah, you went to the paradise of British Columbia to the bush. Okay, fair enough. But you know what I mean? Like, if that's fair, I'll give you that. That's a good pull. I'll give you that one. But if you're gonna be playing for
this annually, by the way, Mack.
It's great. I'll send you pictures. It's amazing there. If you had to pick, like, and it's not like these guys get to pick either. Like, they're drafted by teams, and that's where they go. But I mean, if you were going to be able to have an opportunity to play, let's say for Kelowna, or play for even Vancouver, let's say. Or I don't know, like we could go through a few teams, or Regina. I mean, the needle's not moving a whole lot for me to further my hockey career if I know I get to play in Kelowna, and likely I'm still going to have just as good of an opportunity, maybe better, and I get to enjoy the view, and it's not freezing cold. Whereas I'm going to go play in Regina, it's like, well, the Tim Hortons is the highlight of my year here. I don't know. I don't get it. I would take the draft picks. I would. It's not worth that much to me for one guy. And I mean, he's not coming back next season. He's going to make the NHL. So, but yeah, you got a good point. I do go to Prince George in the summer, and that's a fair point.
For how long?
Like a week.
Like a
10
week,
days.
Mack.
Do you drive?
Yeah.
Just keeps getting better.
The potholes are not fun back in the day, but I mean, sunsets 11 o'clock. What's not to like, man? It's perfect. Kayaks, you go out there. You know, it's a good time.
It's not selling it, is he, Teddy?
It's so much different.
You guys are dicks.
We're realists.
Also true.
Guys, I know a nice lake. It'll just take us like 8 hours to get there, but it's worth it.
Hey, it is worth it. It is worth it. And if you go golfing, sometimes you see a fox.
No. I know you got a good setup out there. I know you got family out there.
Dude, you're ruining the moment here, Ted. You're allowing the moment to get leveled down. You could have just stuck with it and just really made this a great clip for our show. And you're like, no, actually, I totally get it. That's awesome for you. Just leave it as is, man.
We're gonna lose our 6 listeners in PG.
Yeah, Regina's actually a really great team. They've had some great prospects coming. Like, you can't finish with that. You leave it on the high note. You leave it on a high note. Like it's like, you know, we're talking to B-Max, like, oh yeah, he's got this, like, but he is in the, you know, in his spare bedroom, and you know.
There's a guy that wanted me to come out. He's like, well, it is Regina. So it was a few years back, and I was like, I don't know, it's tough sell. Like, you gotta pay me a lot of money.
Is that the guest room, B-Mac? So when you have people come over, like say when you have family visiting from Regina or Prince George, do they stay in do they stay in the Canucks room?
This is the second spare room.
Okay.
This is kind of my like office
of the manor
that doesn't have a desk or a chair. I'm literally sitting on a footstool or a stool right now, or like
wow.
Like, what do you
so
call it?
Like the radio money isn't as amazing as we thought.
Look,
nice.
Doorstep.
Yeah, there it is.
That's what I'm sitting on. No, the radio. This is why I DJ on the side.
Oh, okay, that's fair. You know, I could DJ on the side as well, apparently, according to my stage name. So
DJ Shanks a lot.
Hey, have you seen my golf game? That is bang on.
Oh, we've talked about this many times. Probably not when you were on, but Ryan has the weirdest swing I've ever seen in my life.
You like turned like off to the side.
You know how,
even worse.
Like you hold like this, right?
Yeah.
So you swing like this way, right? Yeah. So Ryan does the same thing, but he goes like this, and he swings this way.
Like for irons?
Yeah. Like imagine if you're swinging a baseball bat, right?
Like I know people
like this. Like he holds it like this.
Really?
No. So I hold my baseball bat the way I shoot. The way I shoot a hockey stick and hold a baseball bat would be left. But then when I golf right, and I have the same hand stance. So basically, if I would swing this way and I'd finish with a golf club,
just to stand up and show them how you would hold your club.
That's a
because I kick left, but I
like a crotch shot. But whatever. I'll send you the video. I'll send you one of my golf videos that I've been doing.
He reaches over like this.
That does sound odd. We need to go out and do a round as soon as possible. But
when the snow melts, we'll get you in for sure.
I right left, I kick left, but I hit right, I throw right. I'm kind of like all over, but that's not. I don't do like. Okay,
I'm gonna send you a video before you go to bed tonight, and you're gonna be like, I wish I wouldn't have seen that. Like you're gonna think like, I mean, I enjoyed being on the show, but this kid's got a lot wrong with him, and I'm not okay with that. So, I'll find a video before the night is over. Guys, let's finish strong. This has been an awesome show. B-Mac,
thanks for having me, guys.
We might even get you back because Ted's made a little posting online about what's going on in his life. He's going in. He's getting an entirely new heart, a mechanical. He's going to be RoboCop, basically. Your move, creep, and he's could happen. I mean, he got the knees already. So, no, Ted is going under the knife. He's going to get fixed up, and he's going to maybe be on the shelf for a little bit while things recover. And obviously, we're going to be thinking about you, and I'm going to cry a lot because I love you. But the show must go on because the podcast is clearly more important than your physical well-being. So, it's like, wow, this is actually hurting. So we may see B-Mac on the show.
I love it. So much fun.
So we'll see how that goes. But I do want to finish on a strong note. So this is, I mean, kind of our first real big, heavy hitting show of the new year. So I wanted to bring up New Year's resolutions because everybody's got them. I'm not normally a New Year's resolutions guy, but I did one thing this year, and I'm really proud of myself for this. I decided that January 1st, I was turning over a new leaf. The gym, be damned, that's not happening. Very happy with my dad bod. I'm going to better myself on the ball field this year. My golf game will get better. But I did something that I think was tough for a lot of people. I gave up Wordle. So that's my resolution. I don't know if you guys have anything equally as impressive as that, but Wordle's tough because it's so addictive. You want to tell everybody how many turns it took you to get the word. I'm just done with it. I am. So I'm still doing Candy Crush daily.
You are not.
I am. My mother-in-law got me hooked on it, so I yell at her every single time she's in town.
But
Like
recently, I would hope she got you hooked on it, right? You haven't been doing it for years, have you?
Dude, I'm at like what level 2,500 right now?
You've been doing the Crush for years.
2,500, level 2,500.
Did you know I've never played a single round of Candy Crush?
Me neither.
It's so good. It's addictive, man. Because I would watch over my wife's shoulder and I'm like, oh, do this. And she'd just she'd yell at me like, stop. You know how it is. You guys know how it is, right? Don't. So I just started playing it and I'm killing it. I'm crushing it, as they say.
Yeah. Did you guys get on the Angry Birds train at one point when that came out?
I gave up on that. Once I beat that on my phone, I will never play that game again.
And then Words with Friends, which was Scrabble.
Did that too. That was kind of fun. Yeah,
but I did Wordle. I had fun. There's a music one too. I can't remember what it's called, but it's a
Turtle, I think. Yeah.
There was a trivia one that we played for a while. You could pass back and forth. Like you get to answer questions, and when you get it wrong, it passes to the next person, and then you can
catchphrase.
No, it was like just trivia, like
charades,
almost like a Trivial Pursuit stuff. Yeah, charades. That's the one.
We could do.
Have you guys curled, by the way, before we end this? Because
I have. You guys didn't say if you have a New Year's resolution or not. We'll get into curling. Don't worry.
Well, no, maybe that's my resolution.
To curl or just to curl better?
Curl better, curl harder.
Are you the lead? What are you, the lead or the
second?
Today I was the lead. So I play like for when we play for Bell Media, it's like Wednesdays, and we're like in the lowest possible division, and we never get points.
You're playing against the drunk guys that stole the broom from outside that someone's sweeping with.
So I play like third, or I'll play. Even I got to play lead or skip last time for a couple ends. But usually when I'm playing with the good guys, because we're in like the A League with like these guys, it's so ridiculous. Every week they're like, "Oh, that guy was at the Briar. Oh, look, that guy's name's on the wall." And they're like, "Oh, he's your script guy." And I'm like, "I've been playing like 10 games now. Like it's been a few months."
So the slippy one goes on the left foot or the right foot?
Yeah, I actually, and even crazier, I actually have them here.
Yeah, it goes on the left foot. Stop calling it the slippy one.
Yeah.
I forgot to tell you.
It's a slider.
These are my curling shoes that I got
online. You're supposed to leave those there.
I don't use people's used shoes, but I bought used curling shoes, and inside it's wool, and this is real leather. And when I took him to Jock Tyre, who's like the curling guru of Kelowna,
he is.
He's like, I'm like, are these like that old? And he's like, I'm like, they're at least 20 years. He's like, try 40. And then some other old guy beside him says these are 45-year-old shoes that
Holy
just
shit.
at the time because that's how they made stuff back then.
Yeah,
and it's got like wool lining.
Now you'd get through like 2 ends and they'd be gone.
And they're gonna you're gonna roll in like on A League night. They're gonna take one look at your shoes and they're gonna be like, "This guy's fucking OG. Watch out for him."
He is it.
Look at the guy's beard alone.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways,
Grizzly Adams did have a beard.
Resolution.
I'd love to have a curling team with these guys. I'll tell you that.
I mean, I've got a KSS cardigan from my dad when he graduated, so I could go back to the old G.
You're on the team.
So. I'm down to curl. Let's
it's
get
so
in
much fun, you guys. Like, have you done like? Yeah.
Like I've done it in like an all sport league, and then I subbed one time for another buddy, and then played we did some in high school. It was like a whole.
Have you ever played in a Bonspiel, Ted?
Yeah.
Oh, that's some fun stuff, eh?
Have you ever played in a cash spiel?
My folks curled when I was younger, so I'm like,
yeah, my dad and my grandpa did, and that's why I know it's
Saturday mornings.
Yeah,
Saturday mornings. That's where I was.
Old, straw brush and stuff. So
seriously, I see this old
sure.
black and white picture of my dad. He was the lead. He was the young kid. He was the lead. He was talking about, I was the best sweeper in town. Like it's because you were the youngest. That's why they put you first, just like they did for me. with all these guys and their names on the wall I play with on Thursdays.
Yeah.
So, shout out.
Yeah,
to
man, I'm down. I would love
Shout
to
out to
play, I would
curling.
love to curl with you in the new this is the new year. After this is all done, I'm out for curling.
Yeah, you'll be ready by September.
And then slow pitch guys, I'm in. But just remember, I try harder than I can actually play.
Love it.
But I want to be bloody. Like I leave with bloody knees every single time.
We'll get you out for the at the very least we'll get you on the work team because that's a good time.
Yeah. So he's gonna take over Matt's spot as hurting something.
Yeah,
first.
he'll be our hustling guy next. Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
And I can pitch, and I can run.
No, you can't. Not on this team. You can't.
I prefer to play shortstop or something.
Yeah, no one's taking pitch on that team. That's my job.
I need to take some bloody news.
Well, we can make it happen for you.
Thanks for having me on, boys.
Yeah, this has been a lot of fun. I'm a little disappointed you didn't bring any of those wads of cash from your day job.
Yeah. This guy.
If you could maybe take us on like a tour of the vault where that's all stored, that'd be great.
The vault.
We talked about this.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep talking about it because it's money. So.
8 a.m. is your next keyword for Destroy Your Deck tomorrow morning.
Yeah, just send me the link for the day of all the words. Don't
forget about
we gotta have him on and not get him to talk about the Destroy Your Debt shit.
He doesn't have to talk about it. I'm going to, but he doesn't have to. I'm just going to tell you where's my money. So act him like I told you twice. So in all seriousness, B-Mac, thanks so much for coming on. You're a gem. It's nice to have people
another year or so, right?
Well, we're gonna try to cut it down from like 2 years to maybe
Is that
less.
what it was?
It feels like it's been a while.
Ryan's like, "Oh, Destroy Your Debt." That's what we were talking about last time. It's on right now, 3 years later.
Yeah.
So like, I think it's at least been one, but it's probably been two.
It's been a year and a half, maybe 2 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it feels like yesterday.
It does. I know. That's why I'm like, I don't know what these guys' problems are. I don't know why.
Yeah, we've got this really long list, and it's really tough to get people. Stuff like
okay, boys.
Awesome. Any final words? You want any? You get the mic for a couple seconds. Anything you want to promote? Anything going on?
My 3-year-old just turned, and her name's Bowie. She just decided to change her favorite word. At first, she was, "I'm too busy." So, Bowie, can you come eat dinner? No, I'm too busy. Bowie, it's time for bedtime. No, I'm too busy. So now her thing is, she says, she's like, tomorrow. So everything is, well, hey, Bowie, do you want to go to the park? I think I want to go tomorrow. Like she's still in that age where she's not even saying the words properly, and it's so cute, but everything is tomorrow. So I can't wait to tell you what the next one
love baby accents, like my favorite. It's the best.
I know.
You wait till they start saying, "You're such a jerk."
What's that?
You wait till they start saying, "You're such a jerk." And that happens a lot in our house.
She elbowed me last night on the way to bed. I'm like,
no, not in this house.
Play with Dad.
Yeah.
Anyway, so just took her a DDT. Boom. She was
exactly. And that's how they need to be taught. I actually rock bottomed our youngest the other day at the rink there. She was like, she always runs to do like the big jump and like carry her. I'm like, I don't think I've tested this out. So I'm like, yeah, absolutely, run in. So I grabbed her. She kind of float back and go this. A couple parents are looking. I'm like, they need to know. They need to know that these things can happen.
You gotta learn them.
Exactly. You're gonna one rock bottom later. You're gonna figure out people's elbows next. So sometimes you gotta lay the
Sometimes
law
you
down.
just gotta give a DDT to your kid. B-Mac, thanks so much for coming on the show, man. We really appreciate you. You're blast as always. Quick dad joke on the way out.
Please.
Just because it's like baby talk.
Love it.
2 bank robbers were robbing a liquor store. One of them says, "Is that whiskey?" And the other says, "Not as whiskey as robbing a bank."
Man, I can't wait till you're on the show for a bit.
Thanks, boys.
Hey,
This is the PP1 podcast on Crier Media. Crier Media. Have a great evening. Peace out, guys.